Hey guys, this is Real Appalachia with Shane.
And Melody.
And today we thought we'd share another documentary. We've done a few of these and they've been wildly popular so far.
They have. I know that I love the old pictures and videos myself.
Yeah, I do too. And this one is particularly riveting to me. So we'll come back at the end and talk a little bit more about it. But for now, we won't either because we've got to plug our new hoodies and it's almost that season, isn't it?
Yes, Hillbilly Strong. And I got Virginia. We got one for each state.
We do.
And I'm really excited about hoodies.
And I'm wearing I'm wearing our bestseller, the Pocahontas shirt. So
yes.
It's our bestseller by this much. It's about to get passed, but
yeah.
Got one of these.
Yep.
Anyway.
So go buy one of them. We won't complain which one. And also give us a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos.
Yes. And now, on with the show.
Appalachia, how sweet the sound that falls upon the ear. All those who love Kentucky soil and holds that state so dear. It's people working far away, and those who love to roam are homesick for Appalachia, Kentucky, home, sweet home.
I think one of the beautiful things I've ever saw is in the fall of the year when I look on the technique of the mountains and see the beauty of all of the different colors of the trees. And I'm riding along with people and I say, look yonder. Yonder's the most beautiful scene that I've ever saw. I see the technic color of the mountains. We wonder how long it'll last. We wonder how long we can hold our peace. We wonder how long we can sit and look and watch the greediness of people for an almighty dollar come in and destroy all things that was created for man. And they were coming in from the far corners of America. And they're taken out of our county and our state. They're taking out the things that God provided and put forth for us. They've taken it out, and they're leaving us nothing. They're leaving us nothing.
Coal is the king. Pike County is the largest coal-producing county in the world now.
In Kentucky last year, there was
$1,598,179 annually to Kentucky.
That's the only thing we have, and if the outsiders would leave us alone, we're not having any trouble with the people here.
Yeah, man, it's awful crowded. Oh, well, I couldn't have lived here if I hadn't have sold my electric stove and television and things. I just wouldn't have had no room for it.
What did you get for what you sold?
I sold the electric stove for $25 and sold the TV and the antenna and the wire was with it. I guess it's 200 foot of wire for $20. I let my bookcase go for $10, shotgun for $10. Practically give it away.
How long is it? You still have some of that money left?
No. No, I paid 16.
This is Frank Collins. He's 38, lived in the mountains all his life. He has 3 children and a sick and pregnant wife. He doesn't have a job.
And the bookcase, I sold it. Bought a bite to eat with it. Took the woman over to the hospital for checkup. And nothing left out of it. An electric stove for $25 got out of it. I bought gas and moved up here, most of it. Bought a little grub too. There was nothing left out of it. I don't know what I'll do now till the first of the month till I get my stamps. After I get hit, well, carry me through for a while.
He worked the mines until they mechanized. Then, like thousands of others, he was thrown out of work. Some men went to the city to look for a job or go on relief. And since 1950, the region's population has decreased by 350,000. But an estimated 1.5 million more people, many like Collins, remain. There are no exact figures on the number of poor, but they're estimated around 50%, and maybe more. Many of them are old and disabled, but many others, like Collins, are able to work but have no skills except mining.
I live better then than I do now. See, rent $15. I haven't lived in a big 6-room house down then. Income tax $270, Social Security $588, $558, lights $8. The store $122.70. I made $154 and broke even with them.
Now, you broke even?
Yeah, never got a dime.
You...
Just paid my debt. But I have made good money down there at Hot Spot then.
Now it's all mechanized, though.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Why is it gone?
And it takes everything you make to live. And your folks are young, and your wife's sick. And I didn't have no hospital card then. Just what I could rake and scrape. She was down 3 months down there, and her father had to take her to the hospital once. I didn't have the money to take her.
Could you work in the mines now and make any money?
Live at it, but I couldn't save nothing.
But you couldn't get paid like you used to, I guess.
No. After you get a job in a big machine mine, like Scotia down here or something, where you experienced man, you can make good money. I think they pay somewhere from $25 up to $30 a shift. All depends on the job you're doing. That continuous miner, I think it pays $30. I don't. Shell car runs from about 25, something like that.
That's pretty hard to get into, though.
Yeah, it is. Actually, you can't hardly do it unless you're experienced and somebody knows you. That's the only way.
Well, looks like there's nothing here no way for nobody. Starvation's all. And you can't find work. Now, that's out. It sure is. We've just lived this best way we can since August. You know, when Frank and Les quit sick, that deputy. They're going to put me on a disabled check, you know, over here. They never did come around, you know, because I was disabled to do anything. Frank had to take care of me, you know. Never did come around, so we'll just let it go.
Yeah, I think we've done pretty good, though.
Yeah, in a way, we have.
Hey, Dad. And then
But I wished I could left Kentucky altogether where I could actually got a good job. I sure did. If my wife gets well, I'll go. I'll find out. Yeah, there's nothing here anymore at all, unless you do have some kind of train or something your own that you can live at. Well, you just take me now. I don't own nothing. Got no job or nothing. It's hard to live.
Thanks, Snoop. Have a scoop.
It's a very pretty picture.
I'm fat. I was fat then, now I'm not.
What'd you do when you got out of school?
I just stayed home work. Had it over now, though I went on. See, now I made a mistake.
Why'd you quit?
Hey, I just When I was too mean to go, I just wouldn't go on. But my sister's younger than me. She went plumb through, went to 8th grade and then graduated to high school and went half semester of high school and then got married. And she went for 8 years. She never missed a day in Douglas life. Huh. If I'd have just done that, I'd have been okay.
I went 300 hours to one place, got one of these, and 300 to another and got one.
That's great.
And I started in high school over here and went 2 nights on the W&T program and quit and went to vocational school.
I guess it would have been a whole lot different if you'd had all that schooling before.
Yeah, it would have. Made a lot of difference.
How's that?
Well, I'd never been here to start with. I'd probably been somewhere working if I had all this when I first got out of school. But after you're out of school, why, you forget a lot of it.
Here's an old picture, me and my daddy. The picture that was took off of me.
Where was he buried?
Up on the hill out Mommy's. Up at his place.
Was he born around here?
At Ermine, Christ Colley.
So he lived in the mountains all his life?
Yeah, all his life.
Did he like them?
Yeah, buddy.
What did he do?
Well, he worked in the mines, you know, and he got disabled. And here's some more of their pictures. See, that's the smallest. Here's Emery when he was in the 2nd grade. Here he is in the 1st grade. Yeah. And there's Esther. And there she is again. There's that little one of color.
Yeah.
Just I had one black and white and then that of color.
Keep him in the Bible, huh?
Yeah. See, nobody don't ever mess with the Bible now, and that's the reason I keep anything. And that's Leonard. See, them's 2 alike. There's Emery. Looks like he's fat or something. Yeah, where's Esther's at? Right here. Oh, man, there's some real big ones.
Annie, over.
Let me talk. Let me talk it.
Oh. Annie. Wait a minute. Annie.
Brad, quit. You bust a hole in the house. Sure are, Leonard.
Oh, God.
Get on the other side. Swap sides.
Ah! Gosh. Yeah.
Be good, Leonard. Always when you find a ball.
Yeah. How was that?
All right, Andy. You like got 3 of them.
Get on, Leonard.
Let me throw it one. Let me throw it out.
Annie.
Toss up.
There are some jobs available, mostly in the mines, but they require skills which men like Collins do not have. Until recently, there were few effective programs to train them and little attempt to bring new industry in. Instead, there have been government work programs, medical cards, and food stamps. A gigantic welfare state has emerged, which has destroyed pride and initiative and made people dependent on the system. Collins borrows $2.50 to buy $60 worth of stamps on the 1st of each month. The food lasts him less than 3 weeks.
Jack, y'all want to be some with it?
No, thank you, Frank. I'll wait a bit.
I'll get $60 worth of stamps Friday, and it has to do me all the month of December for 5 of us.
John Ingle. John Ingle. Stacy Scott. Martin Leary. Frank Collins.
$20, $40, $50, $53, $56, $58, $260. Thank you.
Just how they can't eat actually what they should have. You go to buy meat with $60. Well, you can get some, but you can't get what the young needs. Milk is over $1 a gallon. You take 3 growing youngs, how long is a gallon milk going to do them? Just a mess or two. Well, they can't have what they need. Maybe I get them 2 or 3 gallons. And time I buy the rest of the groceries, meal, flour, stuff like that, lard, cream. There ain't nothing left to buy meat, stuff like that. The eggs, well, you can buy them cheap, but they don't last long, and you can't keep them. If they don't use it that day, well, I just throw it out because I can't run the refrigerator. I've got a good one, but I can't run it. It makes a big difference. It's just a bad situation anywhere you go.
The wealth of Appalachia is underground. Much of it, however, is owned by land and coal companies outside the region in cities like New York, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. They bought the coal rights from the mountaineers around the turn of the century for as little as 50 cents an acre. Since then, much of the profit has left the region. Today, machines do most of the work, and relatively few men are employed in the mines. Years ago, there were thousands of miners. They lived in company towns with company stores. They risked their lives daily. And until they organized in the 30s, they worked 12 hours a day and more for very little pay. And when the mines closed down during the Depression and again in the 50s, often it was without warning, and many people were left with nothing but their dreams.
I can remember the old days when, after the First World War, maybe it was in the 20s, that this whole place here, they'd take, for instance, the coke ovens would burn all night, and they had theaters going. And when I was young, we'd come over here sometimes, I'd have a date. We'd come over here and go to the movies. One time, I remember in particular, the Trail of Lonesome Pine. We saw the first showing over here. And just the whole place was all lit up, and theaters and old commissaries and the coke ovens going, and it'd go on all night.
Hager was a good booming place at that time. It had a big garage over there and a filling station, and all these stores was filled up with everything in them to buy. And the post office was there, and this was a big commissary up to Allegheny with everything in the world in it to eat. And it was just a real wonderful place to live in, and everybody enjoyed it. I mean, you know, they had just living high on the hog, as you should say. But when it went down, they went down too. And then they just moved out.
I had to leave this holler 7 times. And I was working the day this mine shut down up here, closed down. I was working that day. And I was working the day this and shut down. And I was working the day that and shut down yonder. And they just come up and put a notice up. Mines are down. And that's all of it. They didn't give you nothing. Companies didn't, they didn't even advance you nothing. And if you lived in their property, you paid them the same as you was working for. What do you mean? If you lived in their houses, you paid rent. No matter how long you lived there, you had to pay the rent. The mines was down, they didn't care. You paid it. Or if you didn't, they moved you out. And let the house fall down. It's like his whole hollers fell down. No, they didn't get no warning. They worked right on up to the night they shut her down. They said, she's gone, boys. Junking her. Oh, yeah, they lost automobiles. They lost everything. It was pitiful hauling furniture and stuff back out of this holler. Big cars, fine automobiles. It was a sight. But I had luck. I kept mine. I had a good one, brand new one. And a lot of their houses, what houses they owned, they sold them, tore them down. Sold it out, jumped. They didn't care nothing about nobody. I just tell you the truth about it. Blue Diamond didn't care nothing about nobody.
Come all you coal miners, wherever you may be, and listen to the story that I relate to thee. My name is nothing extra, but the truth to you I'll tell. I am a coal miner's wife, I'm sure I wish you well. I was born in old Kentucky, in the coal camp, born and bred. I know all about the pinto beans, bulldog gravy, and cornbread. And I know how the coal miners work and slave in the coal mines every day. For $1 in the company's store, for that is all they pay.
Without the Kentucky, West Virginia coal fields, that World War I and World War II wouldn't have been run.
And what will you get for your labor but $1 in the company store? A tumble-down shack to live in, snow and rain pouring through the top.
The car that you drive requires 1.5 tons of coal to make the coal to build that car.
Coal mining is the most dangerous work in our land today. With plenty of dirty slaving work, but very little pay.
This example of industry in eastern Kentucky, I think, is just typical of how this country was founded, on private enterprise.
For over half a century, Central Appalachian coal has supported American industry. 1966 alone, almost $900 million worth of coal was extracted. But the wealth underground is rarely reflected above ground. Illiteracy is high. Many people don't have enough food, and vitamin deficiencies are still common. The streams are polluted, the countryside littered with refuse, the mountains being torn up by strip miners. The companies do contribute income in the form of workers' salaries, and some companies are active in civic activities. But by and large, the coal benefits only a few, those that still work in the mines and those that service them.
We're a subsidiary of Bethlehem Steel, and we operate 3 coal mines and preparation plants. Last year we produced 2.3 million tons of coal used to make coke, to make steel. And right here in our town alone, the last year and a half, there's been about 25 to 30 new homes.
David Zagier is superintendent of mines for Beth Elkhorn, a subsidiary of Bethlehem Steel.
We, as a company, provide employment for these people who make $7,000 to $8,000 a year.
There's a lot of opportunities here for people. The living environment, conditions is great. We're tickled to death that we had a chance to raise our kids in a town like this, where everybody knows everybody. And it's just a nice, friendly atmosphere, and the opportunities in mining are great. We have a very low turnover of people, which to me is an indicator that people that work here are happy in what they're doing and the environment under which they live.
Independent coal companies, as well as some of America's largest corporations, like Bethlehem, U.S., and Republic Steel, take millions of dollars of coal annually from Appalachian counties. Yet those same counties have little money for public services, like schools, roads, recreational or health facilities. Some of them cannot meet even 10% of their school budgets. Appalachian legislatures have kept property taxes low compared to other states, and elected county tax assessors aren't given the money with which to do an adequate job of assessment.
We don't make any surveys. We don't have any mapping system at all. And the Revenue Department doesn't furnish any technical advice or aid or any way in the...
Delmar Drawn, county tax assessor, not County Kentucky.
So we just have to rely on the companies to give us an honest list. And in most cases, they are pretty accurate.
If you can't survey the land, how can you trust that the companies are giving you a fair assessment?
Well, we just have to trust them. We just have to take their word. They have a mapping system, and they'll bring their maps in and present them to us county tax commissioners. We don't know very much about them after we look at them, but they sort of convince us anyhow.
Have you ever tried to raise the assessments on them?
Oh yes, I raise their assessment pretty often.
How about a severance tax? Would that help?
I like to see a severance tax myself. I'm for it. I think it'd be wonderful.
What would it do?
Oh, it would, no doubt, if the legislature would set it out right and contribute some or quite a bit of that money that would arrive from it to each county. Well, naturally, it would help our county.
There have been some proposals for a tax assessed locally on the coal taken from the ground. 5 cents a ton would bring in almost $10 million a year to those counties. The companies have opposed it. They say they cannot afford that much tax, that it would put them at a disadvantage with other fuels.
It's been proposed, Hannah.
Well, it's been proposed just recently in the state legislature, but seemingly it's unpopular, maybe, I guess, with the coal operators. Naturally, they may not want to pay the taxes, and you know, these big companies that have a lot of wealth in your county, and they employ a lot of men, or not very many now, but they keep a lot of money here and put a lot of money in circulation, and naturally your representatives have inclination to sort of go along with them, you know, and try to please them. And there's not too many people, individuals, think too much about it and realize it just what it would mean to the economy of the county and how much relief it would give all of those people as far as taxes if these companies were paying their share.
Not paying enough. Well, who's to be the judge? We're paying what we're required to pay by law, and in fact, we even pay more.
David Zagier, Beth Elkhorn.
We pay 20% of the taxes in this county alone, and yet we only own 2% of the mineral. So how about the other 98%?
What's the mineral worth?
Nothing unless you can get it out and make a profit on it. If you can't make a profit on it of a penny or more, you just will leave it in the ground. It's not worth anything to you. There's a lot of good points for public debate there, but I don't think our time is can let us get into all the aspects of the economics of the coal industry.
What do you mean, Mr. Garrett?
Without coal, you would have very little, if anything, in our area. The area is depending upon coal. I think this area should be very happy that corporations such as ours and U.S. Steel and others are here. They're good companies. They're honorable companies. If we are wrong in mining coal in eastern Kentucky, and if we are wrong in what is going on in the Appalachian area as far as industry is concerned, then I think this whole country is based on the wrong philosophy. To do it any other way, you're just talking about socialism. So if what we're doing is wrong, then this whole country is wrong.
Coal is cheap now. Everything going to gas or electrical. Well, the price of coal is cheap, but when you go and buy it by the ton and transfer it from across the mountain over in here, you pay $10 for it, maybe more. But when we can buy it, we buy it. When we can't, I just get the best way I can.
When he did have the money, Collins would buy coal to keep his family warm. Now, like many other Appalachians, he crawls into the side of the mountain in back of his house and digs it out.
Daddy on shovel. Don't shovel women, I'll get it. Oh, I can't I'll get it.
I'll get Kimberly to knock it down.
All right. It's all very good.
A whole lot of trouble, too, just try to keep warm. Had to crawl back in there and dig and heave and set, try to get a little cold. Government ever got the factories in here, maybe we wouldn't have to. Don't look like they're ever going to do anything, though. All the big companies just about owns this coal. The poor people ain't got no more right to it. You tell me way back yonder that they bought up the coal mineral for practically nothing from the poor people. And now they ain't got nothing to live on or nothing else. Makes it rough all the way around. There ain't a dozen people in Letcher County I don't guess has got coal rights. Some big company's got them all bought up. That's where it hurts at. If people had coal rights, why they could make a little money around here, but in truck mines you can't do it. Big companies got it all. Like Black Diamond, Blue Diamond Coal Company and Blackwood Land Company, Virginia Steel and Metal Company. They own a lot of this coal. So what are you going to do? The poor people ain't got no change for big companies like that. We just have to get it out the best way we can. When we ain't working. Come on, son.
If we don't fight for what we think's right now, 100 years from now, there won't be nothing. Our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and their grandchildren will grow up in poverty if we don't do something now. I believe that was before Facebook.
If the free enterprise system as practiced in the Appalachian area hasn't seemed to work for many of the people there, neither has the welfare state in the form of government programs. Over 30 years of relief programs have done little to bring about any meaningful change in most lives. These men and several Vista workers came out of the West Virginia mountains to the capital in Charleston to protest a 45% cut in welfare payments and lack of jobs at home.
The United States is a rich country. We all know that. It's a rich country. Why should the American people have to live in poverty when they got enough of money and enough of resources here in the States to live on and survive and make it good? Why should it? I can't see it.
West Virginia is one of the richest states.
West Virginia is one of the richest states in coal.
All of the men have large families. All were on government make-work programs which did not offer any future but did bring in some money. It was enough to live on until the state cut it almost in half, claiming a shortage of federal funds due to the Vietnam War.
I worked all my life. I've been on this ADC for 8 months. They sent me to school. They gave me $278. They cut me off. Cut my check back down to $165. So I can't live on it. They still sent me to school. They worked me 20 days a month for that. They sent me to school. So what else for me? I want to live an honest living. I didn't mind working and going to school at the same time.
How many kids you got?
I got 5 boys.
How far is that 165 feet?
Not very far.
The programs which seemed promising to many have delivered very little. Some men have been trained, but many more remain untrained, and there's no comprehensive program for them. 2,700 miles of highway have been authorized, but less than half have been completed. And while education and health standards have been raised, they are still far below national levels, and the men feel that they've been given, in their own words, just enough to keep them from squealing, and that government is unresponsive to their needs.
There's no jobs back home. Yeah, you can get a job
As an oily, as a truck driver, grease monkey, we call it. But what it pays, $20 a week. If you think I could get my family on $20 a week?
You make more on welfare.
All right, that's when I got on it.
How about in Clay County? What's in Clay?
In Clay County ain't nothing but a coal mine and a camping outfit. Builds these campers for trucks, that's all it is. They employ not very many men. So they couldn't work all of us on there.
What do you guys want? I mean, what do you...
I want jobs, yes, we all want jobs, where we can be independent. A job to have a good income, I mean, this way we can support our family. Definitely what we want.
Jobs and factories. We want factories in West Virginia. They put factories in other places. Why can't you put them in West Virginia? They put them in Ohio, Chicago, and everywhere else. Why can't you put them in West Virginia?
I don't know. You asked the governor?
Yeah. I can tell you why they don't, on account of the coal miners. The coal miners got the big majority. They kick the little man around, that's why.
We get jobs, yeah, we'd be glad to work. In fact, I don't want no hand down. I want to be a man.
I came down here, I think I was pretty apolitical. I just had graduated from law school. I believed everything that I read in the books about the responsiveness of government to people. And as the year progressed, and I saw how a man's economic situation made a difference and what kind of government he got, I became more and more disillusioned.
What do you mean?
I mean that here, where people have tried time and again by peaceful means to get even a straight answer to a problem which gravely affects them and have not been able to do so, I myself am left with no choice except to believe that either this is a perversion of the democratic process in West Virginia, that we have in West Virginia, or else that the democratic process doesn't work in this country.
Rick Bank, a Vista volunteer from New York, and Bob Tanner, an Appalachian volunteer from California, helped organize this protest.
Moved in with them at the end of the month. And all we had was gravy and coffee, for the last week of the month because the check ran out, a week before that. And it's just at least down in the southern counties where we work. And I think the last election proved in the whole state, that it's just not, things just aren't working down here, And so
there's another problem that goes along with that, and that's the fact that people here don't understand the meaning of political power and are just beginning to understand that. And until there is a group of poor people and middle-class people whose interests are the same, who are willing to organize to change the situation, there won't be any impetus in the other direction. I think what's happening here is a good indication of it.
What's the complaint of the AVs and the Appalachian group to save the land and people and all those people?
What is their complaint? Their complaint is period. I mean, they just complain. They don't like our government. They don't like our...
Bob Holcomb, past president of the Kentucky Independent Coal Operators Association, is representative of the small conservative middle class which opposes attempts by Vistas and other groups to organize the poor.
Let the government run everything. And they preach that the government is the best to do all these things. In other words, everybody should be, all industry and everything else should be completely controlled by the government. The same philosophy is taught in Russia. But Russia don't have to send us any wheat to live on. We do them. No, I'm not saying there is no poverty. I'm saying that poverty is more or less a state of mind, because a lot of people that you from New York would consider poverty-stricken don't consider themselves that way.
People go to work and need no poverty program.
No, you don't need any poverty program.
They go to work.
You don't think there's a need for any
But I've
poverty
done
program?
ditches. No need here. No need for the Commons. No need for the Appalachian Volunteers or any of the rest of these things. It's coming in here.
So you have a bad tax system, bad education, bad roads, and that keeps the industry out. And you don't have educated workers because of the educational system I was speaking about. So somewhere along the line, somebody's going to have to make a break in that and say, look, let's spend the money to change this system so that there can be industry, there can be better education, and there can be jobs for these people and make them productive citizens. In other words, when you attack the ABCU guy, when you attack the guy on welfare, you're attacking the product of a system, not the cause of what's wrong. You're attacking somebody who's suffered under the system, not the guy who's created it. And if you want to change things, don't tell this guy to get up and get a job when he can't, because he doesn't have a decent way of life here.
Okay, of his own choosing? Well, why couldn't he go to work like other people?
I don't see why they couldn't go out and shovel and dig. You
You guys are advocating that everybody that can't find a job in West Virginia leave West Virginia. Is that right?
No.
Well, then what are they going to do? Sit around and starve? You want to bury them?
You know why the cities are burning now? Because people from down south have gone up north. They've gone to the cities and there's no jobs. There's no food, so they're burning them.
I mean, if there are no jobs in this state and a guy has a family, he's got to do something. And so the federal government said, all right, we'll train these men. They set up these great training programs, looked tremendous in bill form. The president signed them with umpty dozen pens and handed them out to all the congressmen that sponsored the bill. Gets down to the local area, and 100 men out of 168 in Clay County get assigned to the state road, and they make big rocks into little rocks. Some training.
You know, you're complaining.
In eastern Washington, I'm from the state of Washington. In eastern Washington, there was poverty as deep as any poverty anywhere. Senator Magnuson decided that had to be changed, and he started building the Columbia River Basin Project, a project that today has got 10 dams on it, produces more electricity than the state of Washington and the whole Pacific Northwest could ever use in a lifetime, has produced great irrigation projects, has raised that level of the income in that area tremendously. Now, why can't you guys, as citizens of West Virginia, find us some projects in this state that are going to get us off the ground? That's the kind of stuff you guys can do.
They are calling for dedication all the way to a cause. And at the same time, they're feeding out messages to Americans saying, forget it.
Pikeville, Kentucky. Herbert Philbrick, professional anti-communist, was invited by the Chamber of Commerce there to speak out on the dangers of communism in the United States and in eastern Kentucky.
You can see where we end up. We find Americans who do nothing and communists who are working very hard. So you can have 1 million Americans do nothing and a handful of communists who are dedicated and who will give their lives to a cause. Who's going to win? Who will win? I know there have been some rumbles concerning the VISTA program here and some of where the money has gone through the OEO. Anything to be surprised about? Anything to be hysterical about? Any reason to suspect that if the communists...
Philbrick's appearance followed the arrest and an indictment for sedition brought against poverty workers. They had been helping landowners organize against strip mining. The law under which they were charged was struck down and they were released. But the case brought out deep middle-class fears of outsiders and government programs.
If we could only build now, and if we can only find more people of equal dedication, of equal concern, we can and we shall win this struggle. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Oh, definitely it's communist here.
What are they doing?
Well, some of the same things he spoke about. I think the communists mixed up here with this was arrested.
I'm born and raised here 62 years in these mountains. We've always made a living without OEO and without vistas. We don't need them. I've got some valuable land down here that men like him have just finished augering my property. I'm putting out fruit trees and things like that on them. These people, they come in the restaurant, they smell. They stink. They don't take a bath. Our poorest people take a bath in a number 2 wash tub. These people don't even take a bath. I've got up and left the restaurant on occasion or two when these filthy things come in. The odor is so bad you can't eat your breakfast. Jesus Christ. And the government paying these people to come in here and tell us how to live.
George, I told him over that Saturday night. Same people.
Listen, you people would be more highly appreciated if you dressed like hillbillies and not like something out of a Jack in the Box or something. You don't need to come in here to impress us with boots and fuzzy faces. No, my friend.
Wrong place, boys. You're
in
get in
the
trouble.
wrong damn place. Believe you me.
Better believe me.
You come to us like human beings. And we'll treat you like a human being. You
talking
come to
about
us like a damn
now.
bunch of beatniks, and we'll treat you like beatniks.
Yeah.
Now, my friend, you better believe it. You're treading on damn dangerous ground.
Right up to bank. That's right.
Divorce yourself from this bunch of scum and get with it. Be human beings.
Why is it dangerous ground?
Sir?
Why is it dangerous ground?
Don't say it.
It's dangerous ground because these mountain people won't tolerate.
They're getting tired.
They won't tolerate it, my friend. I know.
Aren't they helping the poor people?
No, they're not helping the poor people. They're taxing hell out of the poor people to feed the damn things. That's right.
How do they tax them?
Tax them?
That's a damn right.
My God, mister. Do you own any property?
New York.
You don't own no property, huh? Jesus Christ.
How are they taxing them?
Tax them? Here, onions. Jesus.
You can't talk to them.
Listen, you people are really on dangerous ground. Now, you're not talking to Phil Brick.
What do you mean?
My God, you're talking to a hillbilly now, my friend, and we're getting sick and tired of you.
Born and raised there.
And you better believe it.
Why?
Because we don't like the way you dress. We don't like your fuzzy damn faces. We don't like your boots. We don't like that. We don't like no part of it.
I used to get part of it. Now you're going to get a hell on it.
It's getting to the place where people are not really needed in this society.
The Reverend Andrew Young of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
Everybody is determined to drive us out. Now, what do I mean by that? They put the pressure on us down in Mississippi. That's the reason they won't give us free food stamps. That's the reason they don't want the government programs to come in. That's the reason they won't build houses. That's the reason they won't provide education, because they want you to get out of Mississippi and go to Chicago. But when you get to Chicago, Mad Daly puts you under such pressure that he's trying to drive you out of there. And people in West Virginia who are going someplace and they go from one state to the next, and nobody needs people. Nobody wants people anymore, especially not poor people. And so
the people come together to organize from Tennessee and eastern Kentucky, Virginia, and West Virginia. This is a meeting held in Charleston, West Virginia in the summer of 1968. They are holding workshops on local problems and trying to get white Appalachians to identify with the black civil rights movement. But the combination of a cutback in poverty funds, a feeling by the poor people that government and industry are not committed to change, and the opposition of the middle class makes organizing difficult.
The only thing we can do is take over where we are and run that. And if we can once begin to do that and build a base from where we're all poor, then maybe we can have something to say about how the society is run.
I want you to remember, why are we going to Washington? Why am I standing here? Why are we fighting this?
Robert Fulcher, president of Mercer County CAP organization.
When I was a kid growing up, I can remember when the back of my pants looked like something left over from a Halloween party, because on the I had 2 big patches over my pants, on my knees the same way.
In West Virginia, we need jobs that will pay something. You see, in the economy of the United States of America, we stand number 12th in wealth. The state of West Virginia does. But we're not a state. We're more like a colony. All of our natural resources and our great minerals is owned by people that lives in other states. Like the King and Queen of England used to come in and take from the colonies, these people are taken from us. We have no tax at all on our great wealth. Nothing at all. In other words, why can't these people that owns this wealth in West Virginia process this here into a finished product in West Virginia, set up factories into a finished product where this wealth can be processed here, give the people in West Virginia jobs, because this is their wealth, this is their money, this is their life, this is their land. And it can be sold on the market much cheaper than what it's being done. And until the white people awakens to the fact that he is a poor man, that he has to be identified to what he has and where he stands. This is the main issue. The main thing is the white people.
I tell you, the white people have to be identified with this thing. You have to be proud of it. People want nothing of this, but I'll tell you, in the last year I've seen more white people wake up while they've been asleep
than I have ever seen you wake up out of bed in the morning. This is true. Shine your light, Jack, please. Andy, take a look. What white Appalachia is. They want you to see that they are part of this campaign, Andy. They want to be part of it. And I am proud today to stand up before you as a white man and declare that we are becoming part of a nation that is being reborn again and is going to live again. Andy Young, as I said before, one of the greatest men that I have ever known. Andy, I love you as a brother. None of you is important. I couldn't have said that a few months ago. I hated the nigger a few months ago. This is true, yeah. Until I began to realize the Bible that I had read taught me that all people, all men were created equal, and that we are all human beings in the sight of God. I'm not ashamed to admit what I was and what I am now. Today I am a man that can stand up for human beings and human dignity and human rights.
Then I'll just go tell you.
A little play for it.
He'll go out and it won't go around like it, ain't it?
No, I don't. Yeah, like this. Yeah, like what? Yeah. I got you. Bookie! You and Susie, shut that.
I'd like it here better than I'd do any place else. Because it feels like home when I used to live here once before, and it just feels like home. Now, I never have been in the city, except Lexington. And I don't know nothing about the city. If I'd been in a city now and know how it feels, I'd tell you more about it, but I like Kentucky. Because it's forest, hills and things, woods. I like the woods. So, I don't know what to do.
Are you reading, Jed?
Read this. The Starved to Death Dive Street.
You got to realize your boy's 14 and you'll soon be going off to work.
But I'll say he won't even go to high school. See, he done been in high school if he hadn't failed in 2 years.
So we've got a program set up here for the dropouts to work, and he'll probably go to work on that till he gets enough money to get out on. His mother's got a sister in Dayton. I got a brother in Belleville, Michigan. He got a sister in Illinois. Well, he'll probably go some of them go to work. I don't know where he'll go or what he'll do, but well, he won't be here much longer.
Well, I'll keep him with me as long as I can.
Yeah, but you can't tie a young person down. Y'all pretty well have to go if they ever have anything.
Marla,
let's see.
Hey.
So you're not right to me.
Give me a sheet of paper.
See?
Just put the salt through it.
The hot dog's made on fish cutting.
Well, did you copy it?
No, I sat down and draw it. Ask anybody you want to.
Well, let him get that. Wait a minute. Let him get it.
Showing artist more.
He has to chase it. Throw him away.
Sorry, I never knew that you...
He's tracing that.
Mr. Scott was my teacher last year. I failed a year. I failed 6. I failed 2 years. If I hadn't failed them 2 years, I'd been pretty sure high school this year. I failed in the 4th. I failed in the 6th. While I failed in the 6th, I was homebound, taking athletic fits. I had a tumor on my brain, though. Lord moved it. I believe I was going through school and trying to make something out of myself. If you ain't got no education, you just ain't got no job. You can't get no job. I've seen that on TV. And you just can't go nowhere without education. That's why Dad's sitting there now. He ain't got no education. If he had education, he'd be alright. Wouldn't be starving like we are. I just thinking that I'll go to high school. Because I think I like it, and then I'll go through college and try to make something if I can get through college. The way we are now, can't get through high school. Boy, we are.
Don't color that in paint. What color?
Where'd you get your brown color? You ain't got no brown.
He's, put some purple. Then I get me some yellow. Tracy.
In other words, you mixed purple and yellow to get brown.
That's right.
That's right, huh?
Yep.
Well, what's this color here?
Purple.
Well, you got blue in it.
No, that's purple.
Well, maybe the blue faded from the ink, huh?
Yep. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, but you done a bad paint job around the edges here. See there, you went over, and here you didn't go up to it.
No.
But it's still nice enough for a little boy, ain't it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's dry.
That's why you gonna do it. He's gonna get your dad. That's why you gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it anyway.
Make one of your brother and beat him a paint.
Don't let me.
Alrighty, we hope you enjoyed that look at this documentary. It's pretty riveting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. It grabs your attention, and it's important to see the things of the past.
Yeah, I think it's, to put it in context too, it was 1968 when this came out, and it was very much of a challenging time in the whole country. And a lot of that got lost on the rest of the country. This captures how Appalachia was struggling with the shift in coal mining and then struggles to try to accept civil rights and all kinds of stuff. So it was really, for me, very powerful, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
There was an N-word thrown in, some fuzzy faces and some insults. I mean, it was just, it was just all over the place. But I think in historical context, it was something worth watching to get to learn from.
Mm-hmm. Right. You can't erase history.
Can't erase it. Right, exactly. Yeah, and it kind of shows the ongoing struggles in this area. A lot of that, as much as the world has changed in so many ways, some of that's still the same for Appalachia, the poverty and the, and like Frank Collins, him looking, one of the parts that really grabbed me was where he crawled under to get coal.
Right.
He had to crawl out to get coal to heat their house, and you can see a little bit of hopelessness in him. He had a little bit of hope, but not a lot.
Right.
And there he was, 38 years old, ready to work, and I don't know, just grabbed me, but I'd love to see what you guys thought in the comments. That's more important than what we got to say, I guess, isn't it?
Absolutely. So leave us a comment. Again, give us that thumbs up on this video, especially if you like this kind of thing. Let us know.
There could be more where this came from if you like it, if you continue to like this stuff. So.
Yeah, and be sure to subscribe to our channel and buy our merch.
Oh, look at that. A Pocahontas t-shirt or hoodie for that matter, or any of our Hillbilly Strong hoodies, and it is that season.
It is. All right, we'll see you guys on Down the Road.
That's right.